A brand new month is approaching, and that means it's the perfect time to let go. You can play the 30-day minimalism game and also download our free printable 30-day minimalism game calendar over at theminimalists.com/game. Enjoy.
The Minimalists.
Diana says, I struggle with wanting to learn about high-quality items I can buy in order to replace the cheaper things I own. The notion of additional consumption in order to ultimately own and consume less. So, Diana is basically having a problem with wanting to replace her low-quality items with higher-quality items.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because during the pandemic, I see people getting bored. And so then they start to make reason or excuses to shop online and maybe even to shop in person. Because, retail stores are starting to open back up, although some of them will never open back up. I don't know, man. I struggle with this too, but as one of the minimalists, I'm perfect, so I don't struggle with it anymore. No, man, the thing that stands out the most to me is my stinking, and even talking about it kind of makes me be like, I just need to do it, but I'm not going to do it. My scale and my kettle. So for my coffee scale and the kettle I use to heat the water, I bought them both from Blue Bottle. They work great. Now, what's funny is I've had to replace these things at least once. Blue Bottle, I went back to Blue Bottle and got these same exact things, okay? They both only lasted about a year and a half. So I went back to Blue Bottle, rebought those things. That was like 3 years ago. So something either I was doing or the quality, like something has changed where these are lasting longer than they did the first time. But within those 3 years, Blue Bottle now has this like gorgeous kettle. I mean, it's freaking art, man. It's amazing. It does the same exact thing that my kettle does now. It's unbelievably beautiful though. And the same thing with the scale. They have a coffee scale that like matches the kettle, and it's art. Again, the scale is art, the kettle is art, and I could even justify and say, you know what? I'm going to enjoy these things more, which might be true, but I also understand that it's such a ephemeral joy that I'll get from those things that I'm willing to put it off until I absolutely need to replace it.
Yeah.
So, how does this translate for Diana? Diana, the more you go without, the more you're going to see whether or not you need it. And like with this kettle and with this scale, like the more and more I go without it, the more and more I'm like, yeah, Ryan, like you really don't need that beautiful scale and that beautiful kettle because aesthetics are important to me. Now, if I was OCD, like someone I know, actually, dude, you are someone I know. And you have the same exact scale and kettle I do.
Right, I do.
Oh, dude, so maybe you could talk about that because aesthetics are important to you.
They are.
So how come you haven't went out and got this? You know what scale and kettle I'm talking about, right?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. There's one word that I wrote it down, in fact, as you were talking. The word is enough. And you're right. In fact, if I had a really chintzy, ugly-looking one...
Yeah, okay. That's different.
Then I would probably replace it. Now, Diana's question, and I think that's where she is. She's in this place where these certain things work for her functionally, but they don't work for her aesthetically. They're not beautiful. Now, I do think beauty is important. In fact, one of my favorite lines from our new film, which has been cut from the film.
Our favorite cut line from the film.
It really is. It's actually my favorite line from any of the interviews when Erwin McManus was talking about how beauty is essential.
Yeah.
And I totally agree with that. I think beauty is essential. It's the reason that people go out into nature and in the middle of the forest. It's just pure beauty.
Yeah.
And it's astonishing, right? We use these words that describe some higher being or other out of this world experience, otherworldly experience, and so I do think beauty is important. However, I do agree with Nicodemus here because it's quixotic to think that in order to fix my stuff problem, I'll just buy the right stuff.
Yeah,
that really does sound like a scene out of Don Quixote, right? Like, well, I'll just because you may want to deprive yourself temporarily. That's the reason Ryan did his packing party for 21 days. It wasn't about getting rid of everything and depriving himself in perpetuity. It was about let me deprive myself temporarily because I don't even know what's adding value anymore and what isn't adding value.
Yeah.
And I think what you'll learn is you'll get by just fine without it. And in fact, the bones are often the beauty. The beauty of my kitchen has little to do with the kettle that I have and that the coffee bean grinder and the blender and everything else, but is that my counters are clutter free. And so
you don't necessarily see those things,
right?
Yeah. So yeah, if you're not seeing them, then you don't need to replace them if you're not seeing them on a regular basis. Interesting.
Yeah, and last thing I'll say is I came across this recently as well. I have 6 jackets currently, and I was like, I should just get one new jacket for this season, and I'll replace all of these 6 jackets with that one. that was literally in my mind.
Yeah, 1 in 6 out.
Yeah, right. And then I thought to myself, well. In fact, I employed several different rules here. That was the first rule, the 1 in 10 out rule. I was like, do I have 10 things I want to get rid of to get one jacket?
Yeah.
Not really. I've got 6 I guess I could get rid of, but I actually enjoy wearing at least 5 of these. Let me get rid of this one. Okay. Now it's down to 5 jackets. Actually, it was opposite. It was 7. Now it's 6. Anyway, but I realized there are other rules here that certainly work. So we have the wait for it rule. I've been doing this so much more, even with so the wait for it rule is if it costs more than $30, I wait at least 30 hours. So like any purchase that's even a medium purchase, I have to wait at least a day. So on Amazon, it's so easy to what?
1 click.
Oh my God. It's there immediately. In fact, you just click it and all of a sudden your doorbell rings and
like they knew it.
Yeah.
They knew you were going to buy it.
Yeah. It's the algorithm.
Yeah.
And so I found that I was doing that a little bit too frequently with things I may buy, like even like sponges or whatever I'm going to purchase. And so now I've just been adding things to my cart, and then on Sundays, I evaluate my cart, and you wouldn't believe the number of things I just delete. Yeah. It's most of it.
That's a great idea.
And so even if it's a $5 item, and then end of day Sunday, then I'll go ahead and say, all right, well, here's the items I'm actually going to keep in my cart and purchase the things I truly need, because I'm no longer attached to the thing. Once I put it in my cart, I'm able to let go of it. And then once I go sort through the cart, I don't have any attachment. Oh yeah, you know what? I thought I needed that, or I thought I wanted it, but man, I don't even want to get another box. This is just a pain in the butt. And so realizing that when you bring more stuff into your house, Diana, it might just be a giant pain in your ass acquiring these new things.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to take care of them just like you have to take care of the things you have now. I think the better solution is, yes, replace things that absolutely need to be replaced, but get rid of the things and try not to replace them for a while.
Yeah.
You'll probably be just fine without it.